And we continue at 2:05 in the afternoon on the John Phillips Show. Mr. Randy Wangs in Culver City.
Johnny, we're a half hour away. Gather the children around the radio like it's 1938 as we will give you a presentation of John's reading of The Witch Who Stole Halloween.
Next slide.
And trust me when I say this, you won't be disappointed. 800-222-5222 is a telephone number, 1-800-222-5222. Well, we know that the highest performing or best performing mayor in the state of California is probably San Jose's Matt Mahan. He is a guy who, unlike the others, is interested in city politics and improving the lives of his residents, dealing with issues that he has control over. As mayor, you have control over police and fire and those sorts of things. And that's what he focuses on instead of focusing on what's going on in Washington, D.C. Well, because of that, that puts him at odds with California Governor Gavin Newsom on any number of occasions. And instead of behaving like the others, where you don't criticize anyone in the tent because we're a one-party state, Democrats aren't supposed to criticize other Democrats. Well, he doesn't follow those rules. If what Gavin Newsom is doing he doesn't like, he's willing to say it. And because of that, there's now friction between Mahan and Newsom, and it's bubbling up in all new ways.
And we've seen a lot of this year with Matt Mahan being one of the most outspoken supporters on the elected Democrat side for Prop 36 last year, and this year advocating for Gavin to fully fund Prop 36. Now a different war of words has emerged where, let's just say, local municipalities have been pushing for Caltrans to do their fair share of clearing homeless encampments on their property, or at the very least, let city crews onto state property to clear out the homeless encampments, because Caltrans isn't the one that gets blamed, the city gets blamed. Well, new laws have been passed that now allow that kind of collaboration. Gavin put out a press release calling it a partnership, and Matt Mahan said, well, really, we're just doing your job for you.
Gavin's not going to like that.
For more on the tension between Matt Mahan of San Jose and Gavin Newsom, here's a report from KRON 4.
This is KRON 4 News.
Freeways are not suitable for human habitation. Our homeless residents and all of our neighbors in San Jose can't wait weeks when the city is capable of doing it in days.
That is good.
He's getting things done.
The state of California and Caltrans have given the city of San Jose approval to start cleaning up homeless encampments and providing outreach to people living near freeways. Thanks for joining us for KRON 4 News at 9, streaming only on KRON 4 Plus. I'm Dan Thorne.
And I'm Noelle Bello. Previously, when encampments were located on state property, the city had to wait for state approval to clear the sites, a process.
Of course, because as the soothsayer Shang Tao told us,
The bureaucracy is real.
If we only knew.
Hey, there's somebody who's constantly lighting things on fire off the freeway. Can we get rid of him? We got to file a form first.
Were located on state property. The city had to wait for state approval to clear the sites, a process Mayor Mahan says could take 4 to 6 weeks. 13 sites.
And by then, they could have melted 2 or 3 overpasses.
How do you get anything done?
Well,
seriously. Let's just assume for a moment that you actually want to do good things. If you want to do it and you follow the proper channels, you can't.
13 sites are now at the top of the city of San Jose's list for cleanup and outreach efforts. The first scheduled cleanup will take place at 9 a.m. next Friday, November 7th. It's near I-280 and 1st Street. Mayor Mahan also announced he's invited Governor Newsom to attend that cleanup. But that invite also came with a war of words from Mahan. He says the governor's framing of the New Deal was misleading.
Of course, because everything out of Gavin Newsom's mouth is misleading.
But everybody else usually plays ball. Mahan doesn't play ball, and it's got a lot of people paying attention to him.
Yeah, and this was just the latest instance of the San Jose mayor calling out the governor. Ground Force Jack Mohammed spoke with the mayor about his comments on the social media site X, and Jack joins us live tonight with more. Jack?
San Jose Mayor Matt Mahan is no stranger to being critical of Governor Gavin Newsom. It was just a couple weeks ago that the mayor was critical of the governor's social media usage. But I guess you could say things are a little bit strange right now with the mayor telling us that the governor's office didn't even tell him that they were announcing this deal with Caltrans today.
Well, of course.
You know, it's funny because everyone else just goes along with Gavin's narrative. The fact that there is one mayor in California who's not willing to go along with it, one big city mayor, and he happens to be a Democrat, I bet you Gavin just seethes about him in private nonstop.
Well, to a lot of people, he looks like a younger, more effective Gavin. He comes from the private sector. He was in the tech world. He got into public service, and he's not putting up with BS. That's the kind of stuff that Gavin likes to sell people that he was.
And because he's wealthy, he doesn't need Gavin to appoint him to something once he terms out of office. He's going to be a very rich individual in the private sector. And that gives him a certain amount of freedom because the rest of them need something from Gavin. This guy does not.
Well, and that's why you also see in San Francisco, Daniel Lurie's approach is he just kind of ignores Gavin. He ignores national issues. He ignores what's going on in the state. He just focuses what's going on in San Francisco because Lurie, very, 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 very wealthy man, doesn't need anything from Gavin.
It's no secret homelessness is a big problem in the Bay Area. Drive on Silicon Valley freeways, and the visual is jarring with some of the poorest people living next to the richest companies.
This has been a joint discussion. In fact, this is something we've been asking for a couple of years now.
But a new deal between Caltrans and the city of San Jose now allows the city to clear these highway encampments, technically on state property, without state approval. The city says state approval used to take 6 to 8 weeks.
And that's on Gavin.
I don't understand. I don't understand how Gavin Newsom can look at this, look at his performance. Well, I guess I can. It's just all about personal ambition. But imagine being this bad at your job and thinking, you know what? I deserve to run the free world.
Well,
I've done a great job here in California. Sure, you can't do anything like this. And I could have fixed it, but I didn't. But I had bigger, more important things to worry about, like going on all those podcasts.
Anybody that thinks they're the one that should be running the free world, anybody has got some kind of issue.
Now they can go in immediately for outreach and sweeps.
There's risk of people getting hit by vehicles. No one should be living along the freeways.
Governor Newsom announced the deal today, saying the state is helping San Jose.
Nope, that's not what was happening.
Not at all.
But Mayor Mahan took issue with the governor's framing, calling it misleading. So what specifically was misleading?
Well, a couple of things. I mean, number one, it says the state is helping us reduce unsheltered homelessness. This agreement does no such thing. It doesn't open one new bed. It doesn't pay for one bed. It does nothing to get anyone indoors. This is what's called a delegated maintenance agreement that helps us help the state clean up their property.
I love it. A sitting mayor of a major city, and what San Jose is the third largest city in California, openly saying, hey, your presser is full of crap.
Everything coming out of that press office is crap because none of it is meant to reflect reality. It's all meant to get him elected president.
Well, a couple of things. I mean, number one, it says the state is helping us reduce unsheltered homelessness. This agreement does no such thing. It doesn't open one new bed. It doesn't pay for one bed. It does nothing to get anyone indoors. This is what's called a delegated maintenance agreement that helps us help the state clean up their property.
And that's where he posted on social, we're doing your job for you.
Good for him.
This isn't the first time Mayor Mahan has criticized the governor. He's taken issue with the governor not funding Prop 36 and called on him to develop a statewide approach to homelessness. Mahan also recently took aim at the governor's new and brash social media postings. In his tweet today, Mahan appeared to compare the governor's behavior to President Trump. Was this kind of
Which in that world is an insult.
to President Trump.
Was this kind of a nod at Trump a little bit?
Well, I am critical of a politics consumed with rhetoric and spin and trying to tell a better story when obfuscating the reality.
In a statement to
See, Mahan comes from this bizarre political background of you should show results and that'll get people to like you and elect you.
Here's his problem, though. I know he was able to get elected as mayor of San Jose. At least from my experience of living here in California, and when you live here in California, most of your friends are going to be liberal because that's who lives here. I don't see there being any appetite for this kind of Democrat among the Democrats I know. They disassociate state and local politics with their partisanship. And they give Gavin a pass on all of his failures because he sufficiently hates Trump. And the fact that Mahan is calling Newsom out for all of his failures, to the Democrats I know, that's just getting him off topic.
In a statement to Cron 4 News, a spokesperson for Governor Newsom's office said in part, quote, "There's no drama here as much as the mayor seems to want to create one."
He can't help but to be bitchy. And again, it's not him, it's Izzy and his theater kids that run the social media accounts.
Gavin says he has a kill switch, though.
He doesn't even know what's going out on social media half the time.
No.
He said that to Alex Michelson.
We announced a new agreement with San Jose, as approved by their city council and the mayor.
I think it's like two divorced parents arguing about who's their favorite child or who's their least favorite child.
Homeless advocates like Todd Langton say people who need help now are caught in the middle of these issues.
Too much focus on abatements, not enough focus on the solution. It's ridiculous.
No. The reason San Jose is improving is because of the abatements. You do not need to put on both sides when one side is the homeless advocates.
No, because what they're advocating for is never cleaning up any of these encampments ever.
It's ridiculous. They should both be on the same team.
The mayor did say that they're going to be tackling their first homeless encampment along 280, somewhere actually relatively close here to San Jose City Hall. The mayor has publicly invited Governor Gavin Newsom to join him there. That would be next Friday.
This is a little too small potatoes for Gavin.
Oh, no. He's going on Meet the Press this weekend. That's what he's focused on.
At around 9 in the morning. For now, reporting live here in San Jose, Jack Mulmut, Cron 4 News.
So there you go. The latest war of words going on between Matt Mahan and Gavin Newsom as the state finally approves a plan where the city can clean up homeless encampments on state land. And Gavin tried to make it seem like they were doing him a favor.
Imagine if we had more Matt Mahans. Imagine if there was a Matt Mahan running L.A. and one running San Diego and one running Oakland and all the big cities in California. Imagine what kind of different shape we would be in if we had that.
Well, we had a Mahan type that ran in the last mayoral election in Los Angeles, and he lost by 20 points.
I'll tell you, I think, has lost his mind. And I don't know if it's the consultants that are in his ear and they're trying to get him to portray himself as a hyper-partisan Democrat because he's now out putting ads out in favor of Proposition 50. That's not who he is.
You're talking about Caruso.
Rick Caruso. He was a partisan Republican for almost his entire life. And then he becomes an independent, and now he's a partisan Democrat. And now he's putting out flyers in favor of Proposition 50. And I'll tell you, I know that looking back at it, when he ran against Karen Bass, it was a clear choice where he was clearly better than her. But we don't necessarily know for sure if he's internalized all of these changes or it's just window dressing. I think we just all assume that it's window dressing and he doesn't believe any of it. And everything that he's putting out now is completely disingenuous. But there's a chance, and it might even be a good chance, I don't know, that he has internalized all of this, and if he were to be elected, he would be just as big of a disaster as Bass.
Oh, there's no way that's happening.
It's possible. I mean, Bill Kristol was one of these guys who was, I think he was Dan Quayle's chief of staff, a longtime editor at the Weekly Standard. He was on Fox all the time. And then he goes, Trump isn't my cup of tea, so I'm a never Trumper. And I'm a principled conservative. I'm the true conservative. It's Trump that's not the conservative. And he just came out and endorsed Mamdani for mayor in New York City. And you go, okay, you're the true conservative? You're the real deal? And you're endorsing a socialist for mayor? Everything that we like about Rick Caruso and everything that he's done in the past that we respect, building the Grove, building all of those other shopping centers and developments all around Southern California, took a businessman's abilities of getting through city councils and planning commissions and getting investors on board and building something new and shiny and pretty and safe and clean. And all of those qualities would be great in local government in California. And certainly the people who are there now don't have those qualities. But if he has been convinced to get elected, you have to become one of them. And what he's decided at this point in his life is that he just wants to be the one in the room making the decisions, or he wants to be mayor, he wants to be governor, he wants to, I guess, excel in some other facet of life, and this is what he has to do it, then maybe the goal is not to fix what's broken. Maybe the goal is just to collect another title, to collect another office. That's possible.
Quite frankly,
I don't know, but he's been a massive disappointment. 800-222-5222 is a telephone number. 1-800-222-5222. If you'd like to email the show, you can do so at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. That's johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. And some days the mailbag is slow. Yesterday, Randy, was not one of those days.
Well, yesterday was a very special day where we started talking about old Gavin Newsom videos, and listeners started sending old Gavin Newsom videos, and we got to see a whole bunch of Gavin blow-ups over the years when he was mayor. And he had an even shorter temper than he has now.
Pagan burger.
So go check out that episode at the search for The John Phillips Show wherever you get your podcasts.
You know, if he starts campaigning for president and starts sitting on planes all the time, going from time zone to time zone, state to state, city to city, he's going to be tired, he's going to be irritable, and he's going to end up blowing up on someone. I wonder who in the National Press Corps will be the first person to have Gavin Newsom blow up on them.
I don't know why we're so damn sheepish.
And with the end of the show quickly approaching, if you want to continue listening to us after we sign off at 3, Randy, that's easy to do.
Didn't I just plug that?
Now?
I just did it. Right
You
now.
did?
Yeah, I said go download the podcast.
Oh, all right.
But hey, go download the podcast. It's great.
And get a friend to do it too.
Yeah, we want to inflate those numbers. So, I mean, we don't get any money out of it, but somebody does, I guess.
And I'm sure they're doing handsomely well. All right, coming up next, we're going to play The Witch Who Stole Halloween. This was recorded during the throes of COVID-19 when the county of Los Angeles canceled Halloween. They told parents not to take their kids trick-or-treating, to keep them inside, to skip Halloween that particular year. In response, we told the story about the witch who stole Halloween. 800-222-5222 is the telephone number. 1-800-222-5222. All right, it's Halloween. And Randy, some years ago, we did a rendition of The Witch Who Stole Halloween about our very own Barbara Ferrer when she canceled the holiday and told the children they could not go trick-or-treating in L.A. County.
It is emblematic of what the COVID days were like. For all of our listeners in the Bay Area on KSFO, when we were just doing the local show in Los Angeles on KABC, we still have a public health director by the name of Barbara Ferrer.
Yeah.
Barbara Ferrer makes $650,000 a year of taxpayer money. And John, is she a doctor?
No, she's not. She's a fake doctor with a PhD in social welfare, but went on TV on a regular basis wearing a white lab coat, being referred to as doctor, and giving medical advice to the public.
And she's the one that the LA County Board of Supervisors put in charge of COVID. And she's the one that said, shut it all down.
No, thank you.
She's the one that kept everything closed in LA County longer than anywhere else.
Fake doctor's got a fake doctor.
She banned outdoor dining in Los Angeles County in December of 2020. You remember that one?
They shut down the beaches and the tennis courts and the golf courses.
We shut down everything. And I don't think this was 2020. I think this was 2021, where things were supposed to be opening back up. But Barbara Ferrer saw a spike in positive tests and decided that we can't have big Halloween celebrations. We can't have trick-or-treating. We need to cancel Halloween.
I have a hard time understanding logic.
Oh, we know.
All right, let's go ahead and listen to The Witch Who Stole Halloween. Well, the story takes place in a city much like our own of Los Angeles. And it centers around a witch. And oh boy, was this witch wicked. This witch had a pointy hat, pointy shoes, clothes that didn't fit right. She didn't get around in a car. She didn't believe in driving around in a combustible engine. She thought that destroyed the environment.
Uncle John, what kind of hair did this witch have?
Well, she had locks that were like coiled snakes. And she hadn't seen the sun in 900 years. So if you were to pass by this witch, you would have to wear sunglasses because the blinding of the light would be something that would cause you to go blind, like the people who worked in those salt mines in Curacao. So you had to be very careful around this witch because the snakes that were attached to her skull could also bite you. You could never get too close to the witch, so many of the children in town didn't know for sure that the witch actually existed because they only heard stories from their grandparents about someone way back when in the old world that saw the witch. But oh yes, this witch did exist. She didn't sleep in a bed like you and I, no. To keep that pale complexion, the wicked, wicked witch had to sleep in a jar of formaldehyde, which is something that you would only see in a mad scientist's laboratory. But this witch wasn't alone. No, this witch had one and only companion. It was the witch's dog. It wasn't a big dog. It was a tiny little yappy dog that made the most annoying sounds, and everyone around this dog would just ignore the dog because it just became white noise. The dog's name was Garcetti, and Garcetti lived in the purse of the Wicked Witch and was owned by the Wicked Witch. The Wicked Witch had a spell over this dog. The dog was also neutered, and the dog's, parts no longer were attached to the dog, and they were actually in a jar on the witch's desk, just to remind the dog who owned the dog. It was the witch, of course. So the witch looked down on this quaint town of Los Angeles, and she saw the children dealing with adverse conditions. See, there were a lot of zombies in this town that were living on the streets and robbing people, that sort of thing. They had not enough homes for all the children that lived in this town, so that was a problem. And the taxation on the parents was overwhelming. But nonetheless, the children were still children of joy who enjoyed living in this town of Los Angeles. And they looked forward to things like holidays because everything else had been taken away from them by the witch. So there was a holiday that was coming around the corner, the holiday of Halloween, where children get to dress up like their favorite characters that they watch on television. They get to go door to door and see their neighbors and take candy in their bags and enjoy candy with their brothers and sisters. And this particular year was a pretty rough year. So the children were all looking forward to Halloween. But the witch, the wicked witch, couldn't allow this to happen. So she decided that she was going to steal Halloween. She was going to come down from the haunted mansion that she lived in on the hill. Because she made how much money, Randy?
$523,000 a year before benefits.
And that can buy you a great big haunted mansion on the hill. And that's where the witch lived. The witch was well-to-do. So the witch decided that she was going to steal Halloween. So she flew in on her broom and decided that she was going to steal all the candy, steal all the decorations, steal anything and everything in the haunted mansions.
Even the Kit Kats, John?
Even the Kit Kats. She took it all. She took the apples that children were going to bob for. So there was nothing left in this town of Los Angeles until one person saw what the witch was doing. It was the sheriff. The sheriff caught the wicked witch and confronted the wicked witch about her evil deeds. And the sheriff said, "Hey, witch, what the hell?" That's a direct quote. And the witch lied to the sheriff and said, No, you've got it all wrong. I'm not trying to steal Halloween. I'm just trying to keep the town safe. So the sheriff moved on to other things, and the witch swept through the town and took everything from the children. The witch then, with all of her candy and decorations and apples, flew back to her mansion that she was able to buy because she makes how much, Randy?
$523,000 a year before benefits.
But instead of going back to her jar of formaldehyde for a good night's sleep, the witch decided that she was going to look down from her hill on the children of Los Angeles and see the despair that they were in because everything that they wanted, everything that they were expecting on this holiday of Halloween was taken from them. But the children still managed to have a good time. See, it was like the 4th of July in Los Angeles because the children don't need public displays of fireworks to have a good time on the 4th of July. No, they found another way to make it happen, you see. Where there's a will, there's a way. When the witch makes better mousetraps, what you end up with is smarter mice. So as the witch was looking down on the town and expecting to see children in misery, what the witch ended up seeing was a town full of children having a wonderful time, celebrating Halloween, and figuring out other ways to do it without all the stuff that the witch took from them. And then the witch turns to her yappy dog Garcetti with complete befuddlement, not understanding what was going on in front of her face. And like everyone else, when Garcetti started yapping, the witch just ignored him because that's what we do. And then the witch realized she was wrong to try to steal Halloween from the children. The children didn't need the stuff that she stole from them. And she learned the true spirit of Halloween and showed up in town and then scared all the children off because they weren't used to seeing that. The end. Let's go to Richard in San Jose. Richard, hello.
Hey, John, Randy, how are you guys doing today?
Good.
I just want to comment, first of all, I've been listening to the show for last probably 6 months, 8 months. You guys are awesome. The comedy part's probably the best part of it, if it wasn't so sad. I wanted to comment on the Mahan Newsom thing, and something just kind of a note that he ran here in this city on the basis of doing a job, and the guy has done fantastic. Everything he's done here that I've seen has done just immensely great for the community, especially the homeless issue. He worked with the water district, cleaned up all the house around that. And, yeah, there's been no help from Newsom at all. He's pretty much worthless.
I wish we could clone Mahan and put him in all the big cities in California. This state would be in much different shape if we could do that.
The guy's fantastic. He's so personal too. I see him at Whole Foods by my house, and he always says hi, and he's just a great guy all the way around, man. I mean, we're lucky to have him. Seriously.
All right. Well, thank you for the call, sir. I appreciate it. Have a great weekend. And Randy, I think we have time for one more addition to the Crime Blotter.
If the cashier is dummy.
Questions?
Now, I don't know if this one is so much of a crime as it is a drunk idiot.
A Palo Alto man's truck got stolen by his drunk ex-girlfriend.
Uh-oh.
For more, here's Cron 4.
An update on a wild police pursuit on the peninsula. The owner of the stolen truck speaking out, saying it was his girlfriend who was behind the wheel. Crown 4's Sarah Stinson has his story from East Palo Alto.
Like it was almost showroom quality. I mean, it was one of a kind.
Brian Dietz is talking about his specialized and lifted pickup truck that's now totaled. Security video shows it barreling down a residential street near Redwood City. Dietz says his ex-girlfriend, Elizabeth Acosta Carabal, was the one
Uh-oh, she's got 3 names.
That's a red flag right there.
Dietz says his ex-girlfriend, Elizabeth Acosta Carabal, was the one behind the wheel. He says she had moved to Arizona,
but something I do? True story. When I call a business or I'm staying at a hotel and I call the front desk, whatever the case may be, if whoever answers the phone is a female with 4 names, I hang up and call again. Because I know I'm not getting anywhere with that person.
He says she had moved to Arizona, but on October 1st, she paid him an unexpected visit.
I was at home, minding my own business, half asleep. And at 1 a.m., a drunk ex-girlfriend barged into my house.
Oh, boy.
You never want to hear that.
How do you think this relationship ended?
A 911 call.
Dietz says she was drunk and he tried to stop her from driving away, but then she stole his keys.
Well, she's a better driver when she's drunk.
Usually it works the other way around. When someone's drunk and they're trying to drive, you take their keys. She took his keys.
Putting the cart before the horse.
All I heard was my neighbor saying, "Brian, she's got your truck. She got your truck." I ran outside. She came barreling down the street. I stepped out of the way just like kind of the moment of the time, and she hit my arm with my truck and took off down the road.
She was ready to run him over.
This is Dukes of Hazzard level.
He immediately called East Palo Alto police. Within minutes of the report being taken, Menlo Park police spotted Carabal driving the truck. Police say she led them on a pursuit. It ended with her rolling the truck on 2nd Avenue, hitting multiple cars. Dietz rushed over.
She was pinballing.
What's this guy doing dating the female equivalent of Otis the Town Drunk?
He sure had his reasons.
Yeah, she was probably wild in the sack because she was blowing a point too.
Dietz rushed over to the scene.
The whole street was shut down. You could see 2 cars on one side and 3 cars on the other. She totaled 8 cars.
East Palo Alto police say 29-year-old Carabal was taken to the hospital and then booked into county jail for vehicle theft, DUI, and evading police.
I'm glad she wasn't hurt. She just had a few scratches on her leg. She wouldn't have been in.
It's always the weirdest thing. Some reason when you're really drunk, it doesn't matter how beat up the car is or how much damage you've done, the drunk person rarely gets injured.
Oh, that's always the case.
They're so limber and they don't tense up when the crash happens.
I'm glad she wasn't hurt. She just had a few scratches on her leg. She wouldn't have been in that truck.
She rolled the thing and she comes out fine.
She probably would have died, but that truck saved her. She's tried to contact me to bail her out, and I will not.
How dumb would you have to be to bail that woman out?
So let me get this straight. She gets one phone call. After she gets booked, for drunk driving, car theft, and evading police. And the person she calls that she thinks will bail her out is the guy she just stole his truck and totaled it.
Hey, honey, sorry about your car, but can you get me out of here? This is really killing my buzz.
Dietz says he only had minimum liability insurance, so the total loss is not covered.
Uh-oh.
He's screwed.
You can see it broke apart a piece of the motor up here.
Dietz says he put $80,000 into it over the years and had $40,000 worth of tools in the back.
Then why wouldn't you put more insurance in that thing when you know who you're dating?
And why would you date her in the first place?
Well, again, he had his reasons.
I'm sure.
All of them fell out during the chase.
You know, that's my work truck. I pull my trailer, I take lumber up in the mountains and build decks and all kinds of stuff. And I mean, my livelihood's taken away from me and I can't get to work.
His friend has made a GoFundMe page to help him during this time.
Anything that you could contribute, I would appreciate.
Dietz says he will be looking for parts he can salvage from the totaled truck and put it into a new one. Any money donated to the GoFundMe page will help him get that new truck so he can get to and from work. I'm Sarah Stinson reporting in East Palo Alto, KRON 4 News.
And what happens when Gurley gets out of jail?
Well, if he has a new car by the time she gets out of jail, she's going on another joyride. Now, here's a question. What happens if people contribute to the GoFundMe, but he doesn't have enough money to replace the truck, and he only has enough money for a used Hyundai?
Well, I think that still counts. I mean, you're not going to be able to carry much lumber in that thing, but he's going to have to make a few trips.
Or it's going to get stolen immediately and used as a battering ram at a 7-Eleven.
Well, there is that as well. The moral of this story, you know what you're getting into when you date crazy. And if you're going to date crazy, make sure you're properly insured.
I don't know why. This story just hits my funny bone.